We're in the garage tonight, middle of January. I'm finishing up a little project that we had. You guys might have seen it. It's just a little YJ. Show you what we did to it. My heater was louder, so I couldn't run the camera while I was not freezing, and today it's a little warmer, so hopefully the heater isn't too loud in here. But came with a 4-inch lift. These tires, they're Rubicon Express springs, 4-inch springs, but we did a shackle reversal, and then we moved the shackle mount forward so we'd get a little bit better shackle angle, much nicer ride. And then did some XJ springs on the back, also much better ride. We're getting ready to put these TJ flares on here. We also did a new drive shaft and a slip yoke eliminator. We did a exhaust manifold gasket, nothing big, just enough to make it a little driver. Got it for pretty cheap, so it's kind of rough inside. There's no carpet, no nothing, bare bones. Does have some pretty decent YJ seats, which is nice, but figure fix it up and move it on down the line, let someone else enjoy it. Didn't buy this one to make anything off of it. Just put it together and probably sell it for exactly what I have into it, so it'll make someone a pretty decent deal. Of course, we'll drive it for a little bit and have our fun with it till we get bored. But the real thing is, I've got that and that to go on that, which I'm working on, and a lot of grinding, a lot of cutting. But it's on. Now we'll mate the two together and get that car in here and have that connected to that in a Mopar. Anybody ever put a Valiant or a 6-liter with a turbo 400 in a Valiant with a 3000 stall and a big cam? I don't know how good it's going to be going down the highway, but it should rip. We'll have to keep it a fairly high gear, I think. Maybe a high 3 series, like a 323s or 355s. I can't go very big tire because I'm going to do the whole build like I would have done in high school. It's not going to be slammed. It's going to be raked in the back. See if I can find some hijacker air shocks to stick in there and some big and littles. I've been debating putting these turbines on it. I got a 10 and an 8, but I don't think that's going to go with what I want. I think it'll end up being some Coke bottles, or not Coke bottles, like aluminum slots, or maybe some, if I can find some good old-fashioned American racing wheels. But I've got an 8 3/4 to stick in that, and she should rip. I'll go no stop. The way we did it in high school. Sometimes you got to keep to yourself. Stay to your roots, I say. Even if it's dangerous, it should be fun. All right, we'll see you guys next time. In the garage. And something a little different here. I've ordered a doubler for my buggy, and so I'm going to put a 205 and a doubler in my buggy. but it is not supposed to get here until March. Sometime in March it's supposed to ship. So till then, I'm kind of hung up. I don't have any Jeeps to work on, so I'm going to work on this. Some of you may have seen the earlier video of I did a revival on a 68 Valiant. It was a 4-door red. I got it running. When I bought that one, I got this one at the same time. Plans kind of changed. I got that one running. I drove it a little bit, not like as a daily or anything, but I was able to sell it and pay for the pair. So this one is free. You wouldn't want to pay much more than free for this. This car is rough. As you can see, there's Bondo spots on it. It's a slant 6 car. I have the hood, I pulled it off, but it's not in great shape. There's a crunch in the front fender, which I have another one. There's a crunch in the back with some poorly laid Bondo. That also has to come out. That part isn't bad. The car is solid. Virtually no rust, some surface rust on the roof until you get inside. Then it's Flintstones. There is bad rust in the floor on both sides. But I don't care because it's a solid car. It's a 68 A body. It's a Valiant. They got the cool grill. They have the cool round marker lamps, front and rear, and I dig it. A lot of people won't, but I like it, and because I love pissing off purists. This currently slant 6, which does run. I'm not going to make a video of it. The carburetor's junk. The transmission's actually good. But I am pulling that motor out, and I made a little short the other day of this fine looking turbo 400 with a 3000 stall and my 6-liter with a fairly healthy cam. Those two are going in this car. This is going to be the epitome of budget. I'm hoping not to stick too much in this car. As it sits right now, I'm already into the car $500 because I had to buy a new hood, and it's only a couple year only hood, and I had to buy another fender, also only a couple years fender. So it is what it is. The floor, I'm not sure. You can get still A-body floor pans. I've never done that, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or not. What I'm going to do may seem backwards to everybody else, but for me it makes sense. I am going to start this project by pulling this motor out and transmission and setting that motor and transmission in, and then I can decide what I'm going to do to the floor. If I have to cut the trans tunnel out a bunch, we'll see. I don't know exactly how I'm going to address that at the point. There's another issue. The Chrysler steering box is right in the middle of everything and not in a great spot. And I don't know how that's going to sit in relationship to that LS motor mounts and tranny pan and all that, or motor mounts and oil pan and exhaust. Everybody that's seen an A-body, they always have some weird exhaust system going. So I don't know how that's going to play. I may end up having to switch this to a manual car, which I'm totally okay with. In fact, I actually thought it was a manual car until the other night, last night when we pulled this in for the first time to look at it. So that's where we're at. This stuff out, that stuff in, a new floor, and some new fender, new hood. And at some point this summer, I plan on, my ultimate goal is to get this roughed in enough. I'm not a body guy. I loathe body work, but I think we can grind this poorly laid Bondo out. I don't even think they put hardener in it. It's bad. So I'm hoping that I can just grind this out and take it to one of the local body guys and have him rough in that fender. I'm hoping that there's not a ton of rust behind there. On the inside, it doesn't look like there is. It looks like it just took a bumper right across here. So I'm hoping I can smash that out, get it fixed up. But I want to take this car and drive it this summer. There's a car show in July I'd like to go on. I'd like to drive it to the coast. I've got a Chrysler 8 3/4 for an A body that will bolt right in with 323 gears. So even with the Turbo 400 and the small tires, this thing should cruise right down the road. So that's where we're at. I'm gonna film some of this, pulling this out. A lot of you guys have seen a motor pulled. It's nothing exciting, but I don't have a lot of that on this channel. So we'll see about getting as much of this as we can. And you can see how poorly of a fabricator I actually am. I would consider myself probably a better mechanic than I am a fabricator. But it is what it is. I'm too cheap to pay anybody to do it, and I can stick metal together and make it work, even though it may or may not look well. It's not going to go anywhere. So without further ado, I'm going to get this other camera set up and start pulling. This bumper is wasted. If you guys know where I can go to get a reasonably priced Dart or Valiant front bumper, I'd be appreciative. Like I said, this is a budget build. So the cheaper the better. Hopefully this car doesn't fold in half when I let it down on jack stands. Perfect. you guys have seen these little Milwaukee lights, they are awesome. Little magnet on the back. They're really good. I like them a lot. We've got the drive shaft out. Right now we're working on the wires and hoses that are connected to this. This is a super simple swap. Anybody that's watched roadkill or anything like that, this stuff comes out really, really easy. There's 6 or 7 wires, a radiator, a couple hoses, drive shaft, and it's out. So this will go pretty quick. We'll bring you along step by step as we go. We're coming out now. I haven't worked on a classic car in many, many years. I did a 16 Charger when I was in high school. And I think that's the last classic one I've done. I've had a couple, but never really done a bunch to them. But as you can see, we're out. Well, we're out. I made a giant mess underneath there. but it is out. I've got to get the exhaust out and put it down, back it out, clean up the mess. I had to turn the wheel and it shot transmission or power steering fluid 10 feet that way, so it is what it is. But, like I said, it's out. Next shot is, like I said, we'll back it out, clean it up. When I got this car, there was a pack rat nest that was completely filled this engine compartment. All the way to the top, literally molded around the hood. They pissed Pete so bad over, they rusted out the hinges. And I was amazed that it ran. I didn't think it'd even turn over, which is why I didn't think the engine was any good. And it actually started up and ran okay, even though the carburetors completely froze up. So if anybody needs a period correct 67, 68, slant 6, I've got one with a transmission that the fluid's not horrible. I didn't drive this one, but I'd chance it. Looking at it, I can't see any reason why it wouldn't move at least. Nothing else, it's a rebuildable cord. But yeah, it's out. Next step, clean up, and then shove a LS in it and see what happens. Until then, see you next time. Appreciate you guys watching. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see ya.